Well, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, and I thought I'd take a few minutes and kind of give an update here. It's been a while, and a lot of that has to do with struggling with my ears for my Furby head. I'm doing two, and I'll explain what's different between them. But first I wanted to focus on the ears, because this particular configuration is going away in favor of what I hope will be a better solution. As it is right now, this was a file that I downloaded from Thingiverse, and the gentleman that had originally posted it had it as a head-mounted set of animatronic ears. And in the video, it worked quite well. But then again, good editing and the proper commands going to the servos, you can make it look like it's going to work quite well. I don't think this ever could work because, number one, it's utilizing 3.7 gram servos, and what is happening is the bottom servo here that controls the side to side is carrying all the weight of the ear, the holder, and the two servos. And what happens is, as you command it, at least using the sketch that I'm using, it moves the bottom servo in such a fashion that it has a hard time compensating for this kind of mass. So as the servo sits there and tries to correct for overshoot, it just oscillates and it's all over the place. It's just pushing, I think, the ability of these servos to the limit, and this just isn't going to work, because, as I'll show you here in a second, they just literally vibrate themselves off. And even if I had the screw holding it in place, this bottom servo I don't think would last very long. The gears are plastic, and they're really quite cheap servos. And I could not find 3.7 gram servos with metal gears and a more robust configuration. This was all that seemed to be available, and just isn't going to cut it. So let me show you real quick what it does, and that way there I can move this project along, and I'll explain what I'm doing with the other Furby head. So let's get this on. There we go. Now watch. See, it's actually trying to compensate. If I dampen it, it's okay. But I tried foam, and just wasn't going to cut it. If I leave it alone, again, whoops, it just falls off. The reading for the potentiometer and the crappy backlash of these gears, it just it's not going to work. So now I can move on, because I have to drill these out, because the actual, here, let's turn this off. What I've done was I've gone with the same. I don't want to fault the guy's ears, because they actually are a clever little design. It's just his choice of servos, just a little too small. So what I've got here are 9 gram servos, metal gear, and they'll go on in the same spot. Just got to replace the mounts here. And hopefully, again, this will be a lot more successful. And I played around. I've got a trash can full of ears as I sat there and played with the size and trying to get the ear just big enough to fit and not overwhelm the Furby head, but also to clear the servo in this particular axis. Let me stop this and we'll hook it up to the servo tester, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, with the other head out of the way, I should have realized that testing the previous version with the servo board, I was not truly accelerating the servos as fast as my sketch, which randomly moves the 4 servos, was doing. And I couldn't seem to slow the travel rate down. Probably if I spend a little bit more time, and I think I will if I have a problem here, to see if I can just slow the sweep. But these servos definitely have a lot more torque and just seem a lot more capable of moving the mass around. Not that the ear was the issue, it was the ear, the 2 servos, the mount, and hanging off of just the shaft of this servo was the issue. So let's see if I can get this on there. And doesn't seem to be the problem, or doesn't seem to be a problem like the previous iteration was, probably because these, having the metal gears, the backlash is not quite as sloppy. The quality of the builds is a little bit better. So I think this might be the final choice, and I'll be able to move along on this, because what I've been also working on with my second head is the first head I did static eyes. There's neopixels for the pupil, but the eyeballs themselves, they're just, it's a plastic body with a painted insert and a glass lens over it. The Furby Connect version has LCD eyes, as you'll see here. There we go. I think you can see that. I'm going to be using the actual LCD eyes in this particular version, and just use some covers to hide it. I can't get a curve to these because the way the LCD screens are, it just wouldn't work. So I'm just going to do some inserts. I'm playing around again with the ID on these, and they'll just glue on here and cover that up. But I'm stalled because right now I'm waiting for some more flex circuits, because the cable that comes on the LCD panels are just very short. They're maybe 1.5 inches at best, because they only have to come out of the connector, come around, and be right where the panels lay flat in the mount. I needed to remote them, so I added the flex circuit, and it'll allow me to put the board anywhere in here and not have a problem. I've ordered more of these particular flex circuits, plus one that's about 50 millimeters longer than these. These are 150, and what I've ordered are 150s and then 200s, and I've also ordered at the 150s a configuration where the contact is on one side, and then on the reverse, the contacts are on the same side. So this will be my second Furby head. They'll have the same ears, but fancier eyes. So always thought that when I was retired, I'd have all the time in the world to work on my projects, and that is true, but I find I have far more projects, and I have a tendency to procrastinate. That in addition to the fact that my back can't tolerate sitting here at the bench for extended periods of time, I don't want to create a problem if I can avoid it. So I come in and I sit and I work for an hour or so, and then I get up and that's it for the day. And I never really was someone who raced through projects. The ears show why I shouldn't. The original configuration with the 3.7 gram servos, I didn't test enough, and I should have, and I would have seen they were underwhelming in their ability to perform the task, and I wouldn't have already bonded in mounts on these. As it is, I've got to dig these out without doing too much damage, because of course I do on both heads, figuring, yeah, I don't have to check it, it's going to work just fine. It will be resolved. So anyways, that's where I'm at right now with my Furby heads, and the next video will be the eyes for this in place, the other with the ears on and functioning as expected, and we'll be able to start buttoning up that one. This one will move a little bit further along, because here I also have a bunch of capacitive switches that I'm going to be putting on here so that you can touch it and do a lot of the contact interaction that the Furby doll itself gave you. And then I also have to work on the large servo that's going to go in the base that will allow this to swivel on the base. So stick around, and hopefully the next video won't be much longer down the road. Plus we're moving into the colder months, so I'll be more motivated to indoor projects, whereas the weather's just been so nice here that I've been outside enjoying myself. Y'all have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.